Hi guys, welcome to the JW Untold Truth channel. So, we have been waiting for weeks to hear from the Association of Victims of Jehovah's Witnesses from Spain. Now we have the Secretary of the Association of Victims. He's going to tell us a few things about what is going on in the trial, what have been his experiences, and also he has some juicy details about this trial. So please stay tuned and let's ask him a few questions. So before we go on to watch the video, I just wanted to remind you, or to highlight actually, that now they have a PayPal donation system. So if any one of you guys, and if you can spread the word, we can help these people with any spare money that we have for this trial. So let's watch this video, and again, thank you for watching. As soon as I get any updates, I'll be posting it for you. Thank you guys, and let's watch the video.
Why the lawsuit from the Jehovah's Witnesses?
Well, the association is called the Spanish Association of Victims of Jehovah's Witnesses. Well, the word victim is considered to the Jehovah's Witnesses as a dishonored, a bad word, and for that reason we have the lawsuit. It is a lawsuit for the owner apparently. They have sued us because they consider their owner damaged. Well, our association is called the Victims Association. Maybe if we call it perhaps an association, well, I don't know, anything else that will not damage the owner. Maybe we could have used Best Friends of the Jehovah's Witnesses. Nothing would have happened. But in this case, we had no other alternative to call ourselves victims or harmed or victimized or something similar. So we chose the word victims, and there was a lot of discussion about choosing a name because there were people who said, no, we shouldn't use victim, not that word, let's use another name that doesn't have the word victim. Let's choose another one, such as, and there were other options which I can't remember. And look, at the end, all of the votes that were made, four votes we made to really decide to choose the name of the association. So the word victim always came out, and by majority of votes.
Who filed the lawsuit? The Spain branch or from Bethel, America?
It is from the branch of Spain. The Jehovah's Witnesses in Spain are called Christian Jehovah's Witnesses, so they are registered by that name in this country as one of the religious denominations, and the lawsuit came from them in June of last year. But we can see from the documents lodged to the court that the Jehovah's Witnesses were already thinking about the lawsuit since the end of 2020, but the lawsuit came to us in June 2021. But it is so obvious that they were getting all the documentation ready, as all the documents says, and other things that they have lodged, like they were all registered way back before this year.
Will the trial still go on till next year?
Well, here we call the entire process a trial. There have already been 4 hearings. The hearings are what they call a trial. Well, what I mean is being in the presence of a judge, and in this case it's a female judge. Also being in the presence of the public prosecutor's office is also involved in this matter. We don't know how it will end, but we will see. The public prosecutor's office is one lawyer in the process, and then the lawyers of the 2 parties of the plaintiff, the Jehovah's Witnesses lawyers, and the defender lawyers. I have to say that the plaintiff, well, the Christian Jehovah's Witnesses, has a lot of money to their disposal. Why can I say this? Well, we have a single lawyer, and he humbly goes with his assistant. But the Jehovah's Witnesses, they already have 5 lawyers and 5 assistants. Each visit or each sitting that we have had, there is a lawyer and a different assistant and another lawyer on the other sitting. So they don't have the same lawyer at every sitting. They always have a different lawyer for every single sitting we have had. So we already have 4 visits or sittings. So 4 different lawyers plus So the lawyer who is permanent there. So far we have counted 5, and we are not sure if there will be another lawyer for the following sitting next time. So we have had 4 views, and there is already 1 left to go. We would tell how many lawyers they will have at the end of this trial.
Who can attend the trial?
Yes, I have been present at the 4 hearings. The president, Israel Flores, Gabriel Ferrero, who is the one who makes the Facebook pages, and assistant. Many more people cannot come because the room is very small and they only allow 10 people. So 3 people on the defendant's side, 3 people on the plaintiff's side, and sometimes there are 4 journalists taking notes because the process has taken a lot of interest from the public. So there are journalists taking notes. When there are fewer journalists, then we split up the positions that remain free, but the maximum is 10 people in each sitting.
Who do you think the trial favors?
How do I see the situation with the lawsuit? I have been there. Well, I will tell you that the first 2 days were very discouraging because we did not understand how the organization has been given so much chances. Can you imagine that the previous spokesman of the Jehovah's Witnesses spent 3 hours almost declaring himself and speaking openly to the judge for 3 hours in favor, obviously, of the Jehovah's Witnesses, and he said what he wanted to say, and we were desperate. We were so desperate because we heard so many horrible things, horrible things, but I cannot say all the details for now, and I cannot criticize or value what value it has for this case, nor should I value it at all, or if it is true or not. In due time, we will post all these hearings and we will keep you updated on our website or on YouTube. But for sure, when the time comes, you will be able to listen to all the declarations who were in this trial, both ours and theirs, and you will be able to value it and see for yourself if they are true or not.
Can the Association of Victims use what happened in Norway against the Jehovah's Witnesses?
Well, perhaps the comments can be made by the lawyer in the final part. Well, in the next 30 days, there will be another 4 of our witnesses testifying. We already had a total of 12 witnesses testifying to our side. So far, 8 have already testified, which leaves 4. So the next day, the 5th sitting is left with these 4 witnesses, and immediately afterwards, what is called the conclusion of the lawyers enters. So what happens here? They make a kind of a summary in which there is a legal part and a tactical part of this case. It is possible that the lawyer will obviously mention the Norway deregistration of the Jehovah's Witnesses, and I am very confident he will make some sort of, well, that obviously will help. And I'm very confident that he will make some sort of comment, but I'm sure that will obviously help.
What do you think about the lawsuit?
Yes. Well, I think that they have played very dirty games. I'm sure they are very dirty games. They are playing because what they brought forward to the courts, they have increased the topic of the lawsuit. So it's not just the owner they are arguing here now. They have brought some documents that show that our association has painted their kingdom halls. Also, that they have put papers on the street poles saying pedophiles, and they have accused us of everything that they can think of, to the point that we might be responsible for Kennedy's murder. Well, in the documents that they have presented or lodged to the court, you can probably see a hole or 2 with some sort of painted on the blinds and saying, well, sect or murderer, something along that way. Hey, but they accuse us of whatever they think of, but we asked all our members and associates if anyone has carried out any of these acts, and everyone has said no. And in fact, if you enter our website on on the first page, when you go down under the statutes, there is a section of the behaviors, that we consider inappropriate. And the one of them is that we consider inappropriate to paint holes, to violate the space, even to enter a hall of the kingdom hall to make disturbances. No, it's not our style of our association. It has a different style.
What do you think of the idea that each country has an association of victims?
Our objective in Spain is to, well, we personally help our victims, and it may be a different objective in other countries. That does not mean that the objective is not the same in other countries, because we all have the same problems. The curious thing about the subject is that we have the same experiences and therefore we have the same problems. So currently we are advising the Italians, the Association of Victims of which is called the Testimony of Jehovah. There it will be called AVTG, because Jehovah is not written with J, it is written with a G. We have been in contact with them for a long time. The problem we have with them is that they start with some plans and they kind of stop. So it's an ongoing thing before it takes off. We are also in contact with the Chileans and Argentinians. Now, there is also an interesting thing with that we all have the common goal, all together for the same purpose. So if you look closely on our website, there is a small boat, and this is like a message that we have, that many people are trying to come into this vote. So this is how it should be, all together in one association. Obviously, we are in contact from last summer with the German Association, which in turn has an association or delegation in Austria, Switzerland, and Italy. The ideal thing for us is to create an European association or a European federation, which does not mean that we don't want to be in contact with anyone from Latin America. No. It's not about that. It's about the fact that all the judicial process will end up in the European Court of Human Rights, and therefore we have to lobby for this. We have to pressure for this to come to a realization before that court. So we'll have to see what the developments will be. There are many Latino American associations. We can all socialize all the Spanish speaking Latin Americans, and that's the idea for all to come together.
What do you think would have helped with this lawsuit?
I wish we had some advice or help from another organization from another country to guide us through this process that we are currently facing, but we are pioneers in this, well, at least in the Spanish speaking countries. We had an important development within our organization because some only looked and didn't do anything. You understand what I mean. This is what I told you at the beginning, that it took a while for the statutes to be presented again for a few months, but they were made eventually. Well, the thing is, the association is not mine, it's not Israel's, it's not Pablo's. This is everyone's. Here, if we win the lawsuit in Spain, it's for all the ex-Jehovah's Witnesses in Spain. We will win, even if they are in or out of the association. There will be more things to come, things that we are preparing, activities and other things that the association is preparing. Very interesting activities for you to copy in your countries. We cannot just stay within a Facebook page or website. We cannot just stay commenting in our apps like WhatsApp or Telegram groups. We have to open up to the public and open up to the government. Well, how are we going to accomplish this? Well, the Jehovah's Witnesses taught us well. They taught us to go house to house. So we are going to knock on the doors, not literally doors, but we are going to knock on groups, associations. What I mean is that there are organizations in town halls, neighborhood organizations. Yes, well, we are going to call them and let them know what we are and what we represent for the community.
What do you think the year 2022 has been for the Jehovah's Witnesses?
Well, the year 2022 for the Jehovah's Witnesses has been really, really bad. Very bad, because we all perceive that there has been a drop in attendance at the meetings, even though they want to tell us otherwise. But of course, as an organization that does not allow us to verify if the real number of publishers or what they are, we cannot categorically say that they are fewer or there are so many fewer, but we do believe that they are considerably fewer due to the number of people who have been gone. A lot of people have gone because of the issue of the Australian Royal Commission. As for Australia, I'll tell you that many other people have fled for other reasons. For example, because of the word overlapping generation. The word overlapping generation has done a lot of damage. A lot of damage. Or other Jehovah's Witnesses are starting to discover the importance of the blood issue. The Jehovah's Witnesses have been giving blood issue to the degree that you have to give your life if necessary and die. Others are discovering that this is not the case in the Bible, and it does not speak or teach that at all. Funny enough, in our website, there is a section on blood. There is an article that was given to us by a PMO, and the article perfectly justifies what is the importance that God gives to blood. Beware, it is very interesting that you have to read this. The person that had given us this article is a Jehovah's Witnesses who is still active, and this person actually reasoned and investigated the information about the blood, and he came to the conclusion from that article because of his reasoning that was taught at the university. And this is one of the points that was brought up in the court. They said that we tell lies, and one of the lies that we tell is that Jehovah's Witnesses cannot go to university. Well, they introduced some university people, and we reconfirmed that Jehovah's Witnesses do not recommend and discourage all their basis for going to university or further education. They do not prohibit it. Many things is not necessarily prohibited, but when it is given a huge amount of facts, that will make it a prohibition fact and not prohibited.
Do you have any funny anecdotes to share?
A Jehovah's Witness was questioned and asked if they were offended because of an association of victims. And obviously they said, of course. People are offended because you know what they say, what they do in this victims organization. So the following questions was asked to him. Where have you actually read the website? No, he responded. Another question he was asked, do you know what this association does? He answered, no. So he was asked, so why are you offended? Then he answered, well, because that's what the lawyer who is there in front of you has told us. We should be offended.
Do you think the Watchtower can buy or influence the law in Spain?
No, in Spain, fortunately, I knock on wood, because in Spain, the law works well in general terms. Besides, we are a small group of the Jehovah's Witnesses as a religion. This religion is actually a very small group. They are not even number 10th in our country, and we are a very small group as well. So we are not important. We do not believe that we are someone who can make a huge impact. I would like to highlight something though, really important. Look, an organization like the Jehovah's Witnesses in Spain that has thousands of members to demonstrate their honor, they could have shown anything. I mean, as a religious organization, do they do charitable works? Do they have soup kitchens to feed the poor, the homeless? Do they have hospitals? Do they help people apart from their own followers? But there is nothing like that. They have gone with the law instead, and technically and nothing more. And they have not presented anything that gives them honor. And honor, quite the contrary. They have gone with the families and friends of the members of the association that is very difficult to show any evidence of honor.
What kind of examples can you share of the trial?
Several of the witnesses are Jehovah's Witnesses who ostracizes our associates. For example, a man's son has gone and testified against his father in the most horrible way, and they say they do not break up families. Then, when the father had to testify against his son, they asked him about the subject of his son. He passed by and said that I am not going to say anything bad about my son. This father showed much more affection, much more love for his son than the Jehovah's Witnesses' son. He did not display any Christian love qualities. Another example, two Jehovah's Witnesses testify against Israel, the president of our association, and these two witnesses were his best friends since childhood. They declare things that were half-truths. Here is the background of the story. There is a police record regarding Israel's sister's death, which she committed suicide after she had a judicial committee. But these two Jehovah's Witnesses said she slipped and died after a judicial committee. And that was it. But that's just half of the story. In Spain, we have a house called Patio, which is in the middle of the block. And in there was a hole. And she fell inside that hole after she had the judicial committee. But the fact is that in Spain, when someone dies outside of the hospital, there is always an investigation. And according to the police findings, which it took more than 15 days to come back, then a report came back, and that said it had been a suicidal because there were marks on her hands, on her feet, on her neck from trying to hang herself. So these friends in quotes, childhood friends who were Jehovah's Witnesses, came and declared the first part and left out the rest. Another example of half-truths, this Jehovah's Witnesses individual who spent 3 hours declaring in favor of the Jehovah's Witnesses said as an example to the court that a son can live at home who lives in the same room even when he is disfellowshipped. Nothing happens. There is no ostracism. But what he failed to mention is that when his son turns adulthood, he will be kicked out. Another example, my own daughter. 5 members of my family were called in to testify and they came to give the testimony against me. But the judge decided to only one person could give the testimony, and it was my eldest daughter. That daughter that I have always loved, and she declared horrible things. It was to such a degree she declared that the judge could have interpreted that there were serious family problems in my family, but she didn't say anything favor to the Jehovah's Witness organization. She said very horrible things though. Her declaration was to multiply to make things even worse to the 1000th times. The day she declared it, I lost my cool. I had to leave the room because I felt very painful and everything started hurting, my left and my chest. I felt like I was about to have a heart attack afterwards. I asked for my apologies, obviously, to the judge for my behavior, for leaving the room and for shouting, but the judge was very understanding. She said that this is very common.
What did you say against that statement?
Well, I'm outraged, indignant to be honest. The first 2 days the Jehovah's Witnesses gave their witness, the testimony, and we were outraged to see how they twisted the truth. And if they were not interested at all, because they will just give half truths, and that's in fact a lie if you don't tell the whole truth. And once you come to the court, you're under oath to tell the whole truth, but they are not interested in that. They don't care. But obviously, the judge is very intelligent and has a lot of experience, and she therefore asks more questions to have a clearer idea, a clear understanding of the matter. But if you are conditioning the judge to think in a different way, well, what happens is that fortunately the judge have a lot of practice and she knows very well their tactics. This is all very interesting for me, but what I want to make it very clear how they use half-truths. The Jehovah's Witnesses will say that they are not breaking up families, but they are providing otherwise in this court by bringing up other family members to court to testify against their own family members. They are proving that they are in fact breaking up families. And my own brother, well, no. Something similar happened with him, but my brother did not testify against me, but they tried to blackmail him.
What do you think about the statements? Do they have any weight?
But funny enough, all the testimonies, like my daughter's case and the case of the child who testified against his father, I think the judge can see that there are particular things that are within family networks. They have nothing to do with this case, the honor of the Jehovah's Witnesses, which is what this organization is all about for this trial. Hey, earn the honor, earn it. Go to the street, put up a soup shop and help people to feed something. Just do something that will help to show that you actually have honor. Something interesting brought up in this trial is that Jehovah's Witnesses have asked for land to set up a kingdom hall, and they want free land from the state. And some counsel has asked me, what do you think? I said, well, look, the Catholic Church and other religions receive free land, why not the Jehovah's Witnesses? But ask the Jehovah's Witnesses, ask them, if you receive free, show that you give for free. What charitable things do you do for the community instead of just teaching their own doctrines or building kingdom halls and helping their own followers outside of that? They do nothing beneficial for the communities. They don't have food banks for the homeless. They don't collect clothes for the needy and other similar things. And funny enough, they said they were not interested in these lands anymore when it was brought up in the court.
What do you think about the trial?
Even if we win or lose, well, in my own opinion, because the law sometimes has many turns, and when you start the reality and the technical aspect of the law, the article says this, but it means this and similar things. So since I don't understand this quite well, I can't tell you if we're going to win or not. And the first 2 days were very bad for us. The 2 days after that have been really, really good because of our testimonies. The Jehovah's Witnesses lawyers are very, very good. Let's not belittle them. They are very good and they are very aggressive and very professional. They are well prepared and they have prepared some witnesses very well. I hope that the judge and the public prosecutor have also seen the real side of the Jehovah's Witnesses as they keep asking more and more questions. It is very curious that it really catches my attention, and over this time we will know what will happen at the end.
What are the last steps of the trial?
I tell you that January the 30th is the last hearing and the conclusions will be presented there, and the judge will shortly say that the final decision has been made. That is to say, no more evidence can be provided, no more comments are worth anything anymore. The judge has finished studying the matter and she will give her conclusion and her final decision. So let's hope for the best, and thank you.